All right, we're live.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining Tricycle's virtual Change Your Mind Day. My name is James Shaheen. I'm Tricycle's editor and publisher. Change Your Mind Day is a free public offering of meditation instruction that started in 1994 in New York City's Central Park. I believe Sharon was there, Sharon Salzberg. This year, we've decided to reintroduce it as an online meditation instruction, a place for us all to join together and practice. All experience levels are welcome, or even those of you with no experience at all. I should say that we put this together before the awful events that triggered the anti-racist protests that have swept the United States. So we're gathered here together now in a very, very different climate. We also understand, however, that inner work is a very important part of undoing the systemic racism that has brought the country to this point. So perhaps we can use this also as an opportunity toward that end. So I'm happy to introduce my friend Sharon Salzberg, who will lead our guided meditation today. Sharon is a meditation teacher, best-selling author, and co-founder of the Insight Meditation Society in Barre, Massachusetts. You can visit them at dharma.org. So hi, Sharon.
Hi, James. Hi, everybody. For a while, I thought I'm going to try to get a background of Central Park so it could be a replication of how it once was, but we're not where we were in any way. And so here we are. I'm speaking to you from Barre, Massachusetts, my house, which is next door to the Insight Meditation Society. And clearly, it's a time of tremendous disruption and uncertainty and anxiety and anguish and anger and so many things. And for me, what has been essential is feeling within all that kind of the living heart of possibility. And for me, that sense of possibility, of openness, of believing we may find each other, actually, truly, we may work to make this a better world, is founded in my own experience of meditation. I think of this time many years ago, I wrote a book called A Heart as Wide as the World, and it wasn't originally going to be called that. It had some other title, which I can't remember. And I was listening to a colleague give a talk, and they used that phrase, a heart as wide as the world. And I thought, that's it. That's what I want for my book title. So I called my long-suffering publisher, and I said, I want to change the title. So we were well into the publication process at that point, and they were not exactly happy with me, but they finally said, okay. And they had already designed a cover for whatever that original title had been. So they had to quickly come up with another cover. And obviously the phrase, a heart as wide as the world, implies openness and expansiveness and so on. So this was a long time ago. They were mailing me copies of different images that were like wide and open and expansive. And one of the things that they mailed me was, it was a Van Gogh print. I can't remember the name of the painting, but it was a big yellow sky. And on the bottom, there were a few crumbled huts. It looked to me like a scene of total desolation and devastation. And I said, I think that should be the cover of The Grapes of Wrath or something like that. But I showed it to a friend of mine, and she took one look at that image and said, this looks like a world that could use some love. And we didn't use that image as the book cover, but that phrase has stayed with me for decades. This looks like a world that could use some love. And I feel it so strongly now. Because for me, love or loving kindness, compassion are not weaknesses. They don't mean that we give in, that we're submissive, that we're meek, or we're passive. But I believe they are the strongest forces in the universe because they are based on such a fundamental truth that our lives have something to do with one another, that we really do live in an interconnected universe. And we see in some ways with the pandemic that the terrible face of interconnection is so obvious, and the beautiful face of interconnection is really this sense of inclusion, of loving kindness for everybody, which doesn't mean we like everybody or we're going to have dinner with everybody by any means, but everybody counts, everybody matters. And again, for me, my own meditation practice through these years has given me the ability to connect in a very different way, not only to myself, but to others, because the basis of the meditation is discovering the truth of how things are. And that's why love or loving kindness is so powerful, because it reflects the truth of how connected our lives actually are. So I see meditation as 3 major skills that we develop, and we're going to practice basically all 3 in some form here together. The first is concentration, which is just like gathering our energy, getting a greater sense of centeredness, being able to have a sense of rest. Not that we are dismissing or trying to get rid of thoughts and feelings and so on, but we're getting a little bit of space. And so in that kind of practice, we generally choose an object of awareness. I'm going to suggest the feeling of the breath, although if the breath doesn't work, there are certainly alternatives, which I'll mention. We rest our attention on that object, and lo and behold, our attention flies all over the place. We go to the past, we go to the future, all over the place. And what we're doing in developing that art of concentration is gathering that energy and returning without judgment, without blame, without rancor toward ourselves. And that's why we sometimes call that facet of meditation like a resilience training, to let go and start over with heartfulness instead of exhaustion and judgment. We also are practicing the skill of mindfulness, which is a very popular word these days. Classically, mindfulness means a quality of awareness where our perception of what's happening in the present moment is not so distorted by bias, old fears, projection into the future. If you have a wave of anger, for example, it doesn't necessarily imply I'm such an angry person, I always will be. It's the true experience of this moment. And so we kind of unclutter our attention and learn to be with things more as they are. And then very profoundly, we develop the skill of connection, not only connecting more deeply to ourselves, but through the deepening of compassion and loving kindness, we develop and enrich a true sense of connection to all of life, to all beings everywhere. So we're going to start a practice with using the breath as an anchor. We're going to do that for a while, and I'll guide you through it. And then I'm going to move on to a loving kindness practice, which I will also guide. In loving kindness practice, rather than settling our attention on the feeling of the breath, we settle our attention on the silent repetition of certain phrases. The phrases are like gift giving, they're offering, like, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. People often say to me, well, who am I asking? And we're not asking anybody, we're gift giving, we're offering. We're paying attention differently. Rather than say for ourselves, thinking about our faults endlessly, we're going to wish ourselves well. We're going to make this kind of gift to ourselves. And for all the many beings who we may ignore, disdain, discount, not even through bias, but just sheer indifference, we're going to include them as well and pay attention differently. And I will guide you through that process as well. The skill set is really the same. We're settling our attention. Our minds will wander. It's okay. We practice letting go. We practice coming back. The breath is a very common object for meditation Because as one of my early teachers said, first of all, you don't have to believe anything in order to feel your breath. If you're breathing, you could be meditating. And as he went on to say, I think very charmingly, the breath is very portable. If we practice in a dedicated way, say for a few minutes each day, then we're in some contentious conversation or we're facing some adversity, there's a lot of pressure and we're getting anxious, we can breathe. Nobody even has to know we're doing it. So that is why the breath is so commonly chosen. If the breath doesn't work for you, and it doesn't work for everybody, there may be physical reasons, there may be emotional reasons why it doesn't work, then just choosing other sensations in your body that, again, you can access in other times. But the main trick is that letting go and coming back. Okay, so let's sit together. You can sit comfortably, close your eyes or not, however you feel most at ease. If your eyes are open, they could be like a little bit open. You could find a spot to rest your gaze. Let it go. Sometimes even before we get to the breath, we just start by listening to sound. The sound of my voice or other sounds. It's a way of relaxing deep inside, allowing your experience to come and go. You don't have to fight the sound. You don't have to follow after it. Just let it wash through you. And bring your attention to the feeling of your body sitting, whatever sensations you discover. Bring your attention to your hands and see if you can move from the more conceptual level, let go fingers, to the world of direct sensation. Picking up pulsing, throbbing, pressure, whatever it might be. You don't have to name these things, but feel them. And on that same level, see if you can feel the sensation of the breath. Finding the place where the breath is clearest for you or strongest for you. Maybe that's the nostrils or the chest or the abdomen. And in this system, it's just the normal natural breath. However it's appearing, however it's changing. And if images or sounds or sensations or emotions should arise and they're not very strong, you can just let them flow on by. You're breathing. It's just one breath. If they are strong and they kind of pick you up and pull you away, you get lost in thought, spun out in a fantasy, or you fall asleep, don't worry about it. The most important moment is the next moment after you've been gone, where we have the chance to be really different. Instead of judging ourselves or being ashamed of ourselves, we can practice letting go and practice beginning again. We say the healing is in the return, not in never having wandered to begin with. There's no need to be discouraged, however many times you need to let go and begin again. That's the actual training. And we're going to move over to a loving kindness practice where instead of resting your attention on the feeling of the breath, we're going to rest our attention on the silent repetition of certain phrases. The phrases I use, and we ourselves are considered the first recipient. So the phrases I use are, may I be safe. Some people prefer feel safe. It's up to you. May I be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease. Live with ease means in the things of day-to-day life, like livelihood and family. May it not be a struggle. May I live with ease. You may have other phrases that you prefer, and that's fine. But 3 or 4 phrases that we repeat over and over again with enough space and enough silence so that it's a rhythm that's pleasing to you. You don't have to try to force a feeling or an emotion. The power of the practice actually comes from the complete wholehearted gathering of all of our attention behind one phrase at a time. And when we get distracted, see if you can let go and come back. So we ourselves are the first recipient. May I be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease. Remember, the energy is gift giving, it's offering, it's like blessing. May I be safe, Be happy. Be healthy. Live with ease. Think of someone that you feel grateful to. Maybe someone who's helped you directly, they've helped pick you up when you've fallen down. Or maybe you've never met them, but they've inspired you from afar. The texts say this is the one whom, when you think of them, you smile. Could be an adult, could be a child, could be a pet. These days, I often use this puppy. My friends adopted a puppy, and their family is so much happier now. So that puppy is like my benefactor in that sense. If somebody comes to mind, bring them here. You can get an image of them, say their name to yourself, get a feeling for their presence, and offer the phrases of loving kindness to them. Again, the words may not seem totally perfect by any means, but they're the vehicle for the heart's energy, so they're serving us. May you be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease. And someone you know who's struggling right now, who's having a difficult time, bring them here. and offer the phrases of loving kindness to them. May you be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease, or whatever phrases you may be using. And then we're going to have a gathering. Just see who comes to mind: friends, family, colleagues, people who are playing some role in your life, checkout person in the supermarket, whoever comes to mind. And we're going to offer loving kindness to the group, to the collective. May you be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease. And then all beings everywhere, all people, all creatures, all those in existence, near and far, known and unknown. May all beings be safe, be happy, be healthy, live with ease. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes or lift your gaze. We'll end the meditation session. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I'm going to turn this back over to James to say goodbye.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you everyone for participating in our virtual Change Your Mind Day. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us at tricycle.org for more offerings to support your practice. So thank you again, Sharon. That was lovely.
Thank you.